Yo, it's the boys with the heat, we're back on the grind. NFL draft, March Madness, it's game time, yeah. We stay hotter than the sun, catch us in the zone, strapping, we're bringing the heat. Boys with the heat, we keep it tight like a fist. March Madness, buzzing, can't nobody resist. Bracket in my hand, making moves on the low. Every upset and buzzer beater we gon' show. We heating up like fire, no cap, feel the flame. NFL draft, baby, we switching up the game. Quarterbacks on deck, talking future of the league. Wideouts and D linemen, who gon' take the lead? Heat hotter than Belichick's ladies' panties. We run the game, no debates, it's uncanny. Our take so sharp like a blade in the night. When we talk sports, we bring the fire so bright. Yo, it's the boys with the heat.
I
We're
had
back
to,
on the
Paul.
grind.
I know you
NFL
brought it up
draft.
that
So
she's
many
young
questions.
and weird, but the fact that he was doing hot yoga with his old lady, and
I
I
had
had
so
to bring
many
it up.
questions about this intro. One, why do we each have two mics in a
I
golf
don't
cart?
know about that. Hey, at least they got us all in a golf cart. I don't know.
At least we're all bald headed. They got
We're
that
all
part
bald
real
this time.
We're all
too,
bald
yeah,
headed
yeah.
with it's all the same guy.
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's all the same guy.
It looks
Hey.
like me with 35 pounds and 4 mirrors, but
Hey,
that was awesome.
It's
Television
my
puts-
body. It's my body with nobody's beard.
not a fucking person's
Hey, at least we all had
Dude,
sunglasses.
the
on.
television adds like 15 pounds anyways.
Yeah, we'll just say that. We'll say
I just
that.
found out that fucking Tom Cruise is 5'7".
Yeah, you tower over his ass.
You're just now realizing that?
Yeah, I knew that the joke was he was tiny, but I didn't think, like, I never in my
A
life.
little man.
Very small.
That's almost, as a man, that's almost midget.
Whoa,
I'm like, it's not average.
It is. What is it for a man? I think it's 5'4".
For midget?
I think so.
Whoa.
Women, it's under 5
Or
foot in Wisconsin for a woman.
Small person.
Y'all
Small person.
fuckers. It's like they were protesting the Snow White movie, and y'all out here just throwing around the M word like it doesn't hurt people's feelings.
I don't care.
Get over yourself. Or you can't.
Okay,
Whatever
okay,
happens.
okay. I take that back. 4'10". 4'10".
Considered
Yeah.
the small
What,
person.
what is the computer telling you is
This
the
is
correct
what
terminology? by the way?
apparently Google's gonna tell me I'm a height supremacist.
Yeah, what are you supposed to say?
Yeah, 4'10" or less is resulting in okay, whatever. I'm not even
What's
gonna read
the
that
word?
on the air. I'm not reading it. I'm not reading
The
it.
word?
We've gone above the whole cancel thing at this point. It's
Yeah,
not-
right.
We're only
So-
2 minutes in.
So
Yeah.
now that we've crossed that bridge,
Remember, everybody, it was
There
that
goes the
guy.
show.
Charles didn't. Charles was trying to bring it down. Paul was over there. Stop.
Ooh,
There was red
our
flags
show
flying
is
everywhere.
3 human beings from the 90s having a conversation on the internet. Every once in a while, random shit from the 90s is going to pop out.
Oh yeah, it's just gonna pop.
That
up.
wasn't a derogative term in our world until until somebody was like, "Yo, that's fucked up," and now it's all
We
right.
grew up in a fucked up world.
Yeah, okay. Every once in a while, people like us, we slip up. But what makes us different is we don't go on for fucking 3 hours and 63 different fucking comments about how stupid we are. And
true.
that's pretty impressive when I
We
don't make stupid.
experienced that already.
Yeah, I don't make
Like-
stupid
like
people
today?
famous, but if you did want to go snoop around our Facebook pages, you could find possibly what I'm talking about.
I'm like, it's literally all over Facebook for me and Charles.
Please leave that poor stupid person alone.
Listen,
Anywho, so the Snow White movie is being protested by Lillans. I don't know if that's better, but we're gonna go
small
with
people,
Small
vertical
folk.
challenge,
Small folk.
it.
Yeah.
height challenged.
Height
Is
challenge.
is this because of AI, or did they actually hire people?
Yeah,
who
I
were-
know because they hired
AI.
AI. They didn't hire
Well, they
AI because
hired,
they
yeah.
like CGI'd the
A grown
dwarves
person?
they're dwarves in Snow White. They are
Was this
dwarves in Snow
was this
White.
just like a cost-cutting thing? Like they were trying to cut money out of the budget, or what?
Honestly, I don't fucking know.
I don't know either, but I'm
But
assuming.
I'm
it's
just giving us the pop.
The-
I'm just giving us the pop headline.
So
Yeah.
the small
New
people
season,
are
new thing.
complaining because they're using CGI
Lillans.
dwarfs.
Yeah.
Yes. Until
Instead
told
of actually
otherwise in the
hiring.
fiction, I'm just going to say Lillans. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Instead of
fine.
hiring little ones,
Lillans. Yeah.
No, little ones.
little ones,
I don't
Yep.
even know how to say this.
they're
Yeah.
CGIing dwarfs into
Yes.
Snow White.
Yep.
Paul,
Well, and
Like there's not actually actors that high.
Midlands.
correct.
Yeah.
Lillans. And then they
Goes off
they
your
were
tongue and you
already
can't
pissed
even say
off. They were already pissed off because of the Willy Wonka thing.
Wait, what did I miss?
Yeah,
Okay,
because the
okay.
Oompa Loompas. This is just your pop. This is just your pop minute. This is just your hot pop minute. This is something new. This is a hot pop minute. But yeah, because they were already pissed off that they hired that not Hugh Ackman or Hugh Laurie or some shit like that for the Oompa Loompa. And then the body was CGI'd, so they were already pissed off. So they're just pissing them off. Yeah. So shout out to Lewins. I got your back. We're here for you.
Why not hire them? Because
Why
they
not?
already meet the standard for what you're trying to do.
Exactly. So now the other pop minute too, the final pop minute. This is what brought this up, right? This is the big thing. Apparently, because we talk about gambling on the show often.
Yes,
Correct.
sir.
Apparently, there are douchebags losing money and then yelling at college kids because they lost money they bet.
Sounds like a you problem.
If I ever run across anybody who does that in real life, I'm going to smack you open hand across the fucking face.
We know this is Hey, you said this. I agreed with you. I actually think I argued with you over this point. You and Paul probably bashed it into my head, and then I had to agree with you. But we all agreed that when it's all said and done, this was the worst possible outcome for college sports in the NFL, is allowing gambling to literally put their hands in the pockets of coaches, whatever you want to call it. They're not physically doing it, but as far as like finances go, you cannot tell me that it's not affecting the game one way or another. It has to be.
The dumbest thing in the world.
So there is an initiative brought on by the NCAA. I generally, the NCAA are crooks themselves, but ultimately the foundation of the NCAA is the student, which includes the student athlete.
Right.
And they have started a thing. I believe you can go to ncaa.org/draw the line.
Yeah.
Listen, I need all you tough motherfuckers out there. All right. You don't even got to be tough. I promise you don't got to be tough. If these fuckers are gambling money and screaming at little kids, you don't got to be tough. But if you know anyone out there doing that, I'm not inciting violence, but it's okay to go buy a rock'em sock'em bopper, punch that motherfucker in the face, and when he looks at you, just look at him and go, you know why. All right, that's bullshit. Stop yelling at kids.
So let me get this straight. So a college kid, minding their own business, just trying to play the sport that they got a scholarship for, whatever the case is. Yeah. You, as the human being, as the adult, bet on this game, and because the team lost, you're blaming it on the player. It's like you lost your money that you bet on.
Slot machines at the casino because they lost.
Correct.
That's like saying you got caught speeding and you're mad at the car manufacturer because you got caught speeding by the cop. No, you did it.
Cop,
and these gambling companies we can jerk off on it all we want. They're not going to do anything that's going to cost them money. No. So it's going to take us as the human beings. If we know anyone who's doing this, you just smack them in the fucking face and tell them to grow up.
Don't come around me.
You don't got to get crazy with it.
You can't even blame. You can't even
don't
blame.
Set
the
them on fucking fire. Yeah, you can't blame any advertisement. You're a loser. If you do this, you're a loser. Period.
You can't blame the gambling company because somebody's got an issue. There's a reason why them 1-800 numbers exist, because there's a lot of motherfuckers who need it.
1-800.
I know. They have, that's the other thing. Why the fuck do they read the ad so damn fast? You can't even. There's no way you can even tell what the number is. It sounds like the Micro Machines guy from back in the day, from when we were kids.
Speed 1.4 is allowed by the FCC. And don't quote me on that exact number. I'm just guessing.
Hey, speaking of 1.4 speed,
legally they have.
Did you know there's people that listen to podcasts because they don't want to listen to the commercials at 1.4 to 1.6 speed? I tried it the other day. I tried to listen to a podcast about the NCAA March Madness, about like the upsets or whatever. And I just accidentally clicked the forward thing and it went to it. There's no effing way you can understand that.
I do it in video games for like tutorials and shit on Command and Conquer games. Yeah. Because you're in those tutorials for 7 hours.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. That's like crazy. I just got Galaxy
I don't have the
Civ.
patience for this.
Yeah, dude. I just got Galaxy Civ 4. I was in that tutorial for 7 fucking hours.
Yeah. I can't play that game. Looks cool. I can't play it.
That's what I thought. And then the next thing I knew, I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning for the last 1,100 weeks playing these fucking Command and Conquer games. Just being like chat calls me Skynet, bro.
Skynet?
Chat calls me Skynet because I'm fucking calling you a meatbag. Straight don't care if you're hungry. Figure the shit out, right? You've got to. Yeah, it's funny. But anyways, it's they call me Skynet. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say today. I guess we can talk about today. Today, March Madness kicked off. If you guys haven't
Yeah,
noticed,
shout out
everybody's
SEC
playing
What a
basketball.
Fucking joke conference.
Did
in
they? Are they
basketball.
not still getting the shit? Is I guess the only one that's actually doing anything is what, Tennessee.
Well, Georgia just got their ass beat by Gonzaga.
Georgia got their ass.
Georgia
handed
got
to
their
them.
ass beat. Clemson lost. Clemson lost.
Well, that's ACC, but yeah.
Yeah,
By
I'm sorry.
McNeese
But
State,
yeah,
though?
Clemson. That was the big
Yeah,
upset. Yeah.
yeah. Clemson lost.
Arkansas and Kansas are. Here's the thing. I
Yeah.
loved Michigan basketball. I loved it when Beeline was there.
Yeah.
I do not give a shit about Hunter Dickinson getting his ass handed to him in the tournament because he's in his 6th fucking season playing basketball.
But he left for money. Good for him.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that. And I don't mean that to mute your point. I don't
no.
mean that to mute your point, Patrick. That to be added onto your point.
Yeah,
Fucking sweet.
I'm just like,
You're
whatever.
getting your ass beat, and I love it because you left for fucking money. Can you imagine Hunter on the team we have right now?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think.
Just watching him play basketball, it's almost like he is playing for the money, and that's cool. Good for you. Drake is holding tight with Missouri, an SEC team, 15-10. Drake, Yale, still he'll go Bulldogs. Freaking holding with Texas A&M, 35-29. That's it. The other games are all completed.
Yeah, I've got the Yale game on right now too. I think Yale. I think it was a cool story.
It's a cool story because that's where Danny Wolf came from Michigan.
Yep.
Had they have him, they'd probably be maybe like an 8 seed or 7 seed.
No.
Anyway, Paul, I know you're not too interested in this.
I'm like,
you made like 9 brackets.
I made 4. Don't exaggerate. And I'm leading with one of them. Don't be a hater. And I'm more upset because I'm not even upset. I knew it was the fact that we even were part of the first in, 4 out with Texas. It made no sense because
Texas isn't overly aggressive.
Hold on a second, Patrick. I don't mean to stop you there. But there was, because this is going to add to PR's point. I actually feel for PR and Texas fans because if you're Texas, you don't have a fucking excuse for not being a powerhouse in everything. You have the money. You have the money. You have the ability. You have the ability to recruit. You have the ability to get the best coaches. You have the ability to have the best facilities. And you're still sitting here like mediocre. And at best, a better than good, not so great.
And this thing, we just got a top of the line facility for the basketball teams and the volleyball teams with the Moody Center.
So if you're a Texas fan, you're gonna be pissed off.
Yeah, you'd at least have
now the women's basketball team is doing great.
Doing well. I think they're a 2 seed, correct?
Yeah. And they came in, they tied with South Carolina for the regular season overall champion. So they had a great season on the women's side.
Well, I thought the men's side, 2 guys that were basically out the entire season.
That coaching was terrible.
The coaching was terrible.
You listened to his interview. He didn't sound like he was very confident.
And he got let go. He got let go right after they lost.
They were up by 10 in that game, by the way, in the first half.
You were up by double digits.
Pissed it away in the second.
At one point, I think they were up 20 or 21, bro.
It was all around bad like that. It was.
Look, Xavier is a blue blood basketball program too. There's nothing to take away. You lost to a really good basketball team.
Doesn't matter. I guess it's just from
if you're looking at it optimistically. If you're looking at it optimistically, yeah. But in today's college sports,
it never should have came down to that. No.
With NIL, you're Texas.
Yeah. This isn't Xavier. Pockets. Texas has pockets.
If there's any, okay, let's just put the blinders on. And you name like 5 like colleges, and you say Texas, and I would be like, yes, they're in the tournament every year. I wouldn't be like, Texas didn't make it this year. I agree with Charles. Yeah, you say their name, and you're like, I think of
success. Be no reason that
there's a level of expectation if you're Texas.
If you're the Texas basketball team, like you said, Charles, with the money that you do have,
the way they feel about theirs is how we feel about Michigan without the money. We're just now getting into the money. They feel, bro, Texas feels about football, or Texas feels about
sports in general.
Their sports in general, like Michigan fans feel about football.
Like baseball, basketball, football, we should always be contending.
Right.
Period.
A no-tax state with oil money should always be contending. I don't mean to say it negatively.
But these are the facts.
Well, I'm not going to say the last time that I remember Texas being good is when Durant was there, but I'm going to say it that it's probably when Durant was there.
Which continues to the point. Why is that?
doesn't make any sense.
Why is it? You're Texas. There shouldn't be a question about where a coach, like the rest of the leagues, because we're going to call them leagues now because you can't call them colleges, but the rest of the leagues should be pissed off when Texas has to enter the fight because they shouldn't be able to compete. It's Texas.
Now, this is what I'll have to say about when it comes from switching from the Big 12 to the SEC, especially for Texas. For basketball, I feel like the Big 12 had more powerhouse teams than the SEC, and it's not taken away from the Kentuckys, the Auburns, because those usually, or even Tennessee, But I feel like on an average seeding for March Madness, I think Texas should always be ranked somewhere, in my opinion, if they're able to get the right players, like they should, between 6 and 8 on an average.
They should never be a play-in.
They should never be a play-in team. They should always be inside already in the March Madness bracket.
It was that year, like that year Michigan was in the NIT. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
this doesn't make sense.
That had a lot to do with coaching. Coaching turnover can really destroy a basketball program because players can just leave.
Again, I love where you're coming from. You really are, Patrick, a man of the people.
I try. Hey, I try. Yeah. I try to look at it from both ways. Yeah. I can argue the point both ways, but I can also agree with you, and you make a valid point too.
But for me, in this situation, it's super black and white.
Because you expect certain schools.
You're Michigan. Or you're Texas.
You expect certain schools to always be in the bracket, regardless of how far you make it. You expect it.
And this isn't the 2000s. This is early 2000s or the late 90s, right? This is NIL. All you got to do is recruit. That's it. And you recruit with pocketbooks now. It's not that hard.
And Texas has a lot of them.
You bring in a general manager and watch out Stanford. You got Andrew Luck as your general manager.
Not even that. You got an old boy in North Carolina,
Bill Belichick.
But his GM over there, what's his name?
Oh yeah,
Mike. You're talking about Lombardi.
Yeah, Mike Lombardi.
So I'm like, you. It's not like you don't have the capability to do it. Texas, you have the money to do what you have to do to make yourself.
True, but they're not I think one of the problems is like some of these smaller ones that have NIL money, they're putting it all into their basketball program or all into their football program. Saying you're wrong. I'm just saying some of them are only dumping that NIL money, not all of it, obviously.
I get it, but I'm like,
there was a video.
Texas is not one of those schools.
No, there was a video I watched the other day. This isn't Texas, but it was like a representation of like how much money Saudi Arabia makes every second.
Yeah, I think you were telling me this. It's
right.
It's just
Texas
money.
Texas is on that scale, right? So there shouldn't be, right? That's where the anger and frustration for Texas fans comes in, and that's why and I know because I felt it this year. We felt it this year for Michigan football.
They should have that much money, but unfortunately, Texas is collective. I don't even think it's the number one. I think it's top 3, but I don't think it's number 1. I think that what the problem is, it's got to be a collective from the top down, how they spend that money. This is the regents, maybe, how they develop it, how they want to spend the money. Because let's be honest, with Sarkisian, you guys have had back-to-back years with success in the football program. Why doesn't that translate to the basketball program? Is that the head coach?
Again,
Texas head coach was terrible.
The Texas basketball program, he was terrible. And then on top of that,
injuries.
It's not even just injuries. It's like a twofold. It's like what you said, Pat. Are you just going to regulate most of these NIL funds to one sport that you know that you can bring the most eyes to? However, it's
a really good player this year. I can't remember what his name is.
But you could portion some of that money into your men's basketball team.
Right. They're allocating probably 7. I'm not even just gonna throw numbers out there, but
I'm saying you're
probably
allocating
60 to 70% of their funds is going towards that football program.
And I get that, but you can still use some of those funds and get you some good basketball players, whether it's in the portal or
if you're a top 3 NIL school,
you should have. It should be.
You're not funneling. You're not funneling funds from left to go to your.
You have enough.
You have enough.
I agree.
So what are we doing?
So let's.
I know that argument could be thrown out for sure.
So that's where the frustration comes if you're Texas, And again, I'm just saying, I feel for you guys. I'm sorry. Not when it comes to football. Well, we're rivals now. At this point, you can't just come into our house and place a flag down and act like we ain't gonna fucking remember that shit. You fuck out your mind crazy.
We'll do that to Ohio State next year.
Yeah.
Go fuck themselves.
Please do, yeah. We want that cut to burn.
I'm pretty sure Sarkisian's not gonna let us do it, but figuratively, we're gonna put something in their ass.
If you guys don't, I'll call you out as bitches for the rest of the year.
Is it in Ohio? Is it in Columbus next year?
It's
you
in
can't
Ohio
plant
State.
the flag because they passed the law. It's illegal.
That's fine.
They didn't pass that law.
I know. I'm fucking with them right now, but it's fine.
Oh my god!
But
I know,
Sarkisian's not gonna let us do it anyway.
They didn't pass that law.
Such pussies.
But what do you mean Sarkisian isn't going to let you do it? Who coached him last year at Michigan, bro?
No, yeah, but we didn't plant a flag in the middle.
Yes, you did.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't too happy about it.
You cannot pretty sure nothing. They went right to the middle of the motherfucking field and planted the flag. There was 6 of them.
Yeah, we talked about this and we said, guess what? We didn't try to rip your fucking flag out of the ground.
Our ass. That's what it was.
Because you guys don't really give.
So you are way wrong. When
They gave a shit.
Like you guys care. Of
it.
course, you don't want another school or another team to just come into your stadium.
Hell no.
Hold on, no. We care. But we can't do anything about it if you.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, of course you care. You don't want it to happen.
Right.
However, if it happens, again, it goes back to the same argument for any other type of situation. If you don't want it to happen, fucking stop them.
You had 60 minutes to stop them. Like, why are you trying to do things in the 63rd minute, bro? The game's over. Get to the locker room and take a shower, loser.
Get ready for next week.
You're not playing next week.
Okay.
Exactly.
I am.
We're ending on a win streak. You fucking suck, man. So that's pretty exciting, though. Okay, so now my question to y'all. This is, and I did hear, I had heard this earlier, and I had taken this stance. Now I feel like I'm about to be like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory when the teacher's like asking, "How many chocolate bars did you guys all buy?" And then Willy Wonka, Charlie's, "1, sir." And he's, "I can't do 1. That math's too hard." I didn't make a fucking bracket this year. The reason I didn't make a bracket this year is because I make a bracket and then something happens in those first couple of days, ruins the whole fucking tournament for me. And then it's so hard to watch the rest of the tournament because I'm upset because I'm just a bitch. So
I feel you.
So I just didn't make one this year. And it's made, hear me out. This tournament is fucking electric. And the amount of joy I'm getting when I know that there are brackets being busted, let me tell you what.
It makes you so happy, doesn't it?
This is has been so far one of the best starts to the NCAA tournament I've ever had in my life.
I like chaos.
Yeah.
So far, I've only gotten one wrong.
So what I did at work is something that I saw someone else do on Barstool. We did a survivor pool. So we have 16 people get in. Each person gets 4 teams at random. So I reseeded all of the 64 teams. I gave them a 1 through 16 seed, completely random. And then I gave all 16 people a seed number. So all the teams that are your seed, you get.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, I ended up with Michigan. Mandy ended up with Wisconsin. I don't know how that worked. Talk about random, but whatever, either or. So it makes watching the games a little more different because I really don't care who wins. I just want one of those teams to keep winning. So it makes it way different than my picks.
Who ended up with Duke and who got Florida?
The guy who's our scheduler got Duke, and Jake, the other guy in my lab, got Florida. So, yeah. I figured as much, too, yeah. Duke, this has to be one of the years for Duke to freaking win a championship.
Cooper Flag is a boss.
The fact that you said he was in a wheelchair and then he said he was going to shut it down if he got bad news. And then 2 days later, I'm going to play in the ACC championship game. Dude, no, you're not. Like the coaches, no, you're not. We don't need you. We don't even need to win this tournament. Like,
he's already going to get the 1 or 2 spot next year. Most likely.
He's going to be the number 1 pick. I mean,
by unanimous decision, most people saying that he's going number 1 overall next year, regardless.
Shout out Arkansas is putting the fucking licking coming out of the half on Kansas.
That's Calipari, though, right? Bringing Arkansas to the map.
Yeah.
And how many people looked at it talking about why is he going?
Yeah, wasn't there somebody arguing that he wasn't?
No, Calipari's St. John's, isn't it?
No, Calipari went to Arkansas.
Calipari, no, fucking a-hole went to St. John's. What's his face there?
The guy from Louisville.
Ricky Bambino.
Yes. Never mind, Calipari.
Patino.
I'm thinking of Patino's kid. Patino's kid.
What did
is
I
at New
call him?
Mexico.
Ricky Bambino?
Yeah.
Calipari
and Patino's
went to
kid
Arkansas.
Hey, Patino's kid coaches New Mexico. Remember, he used to coach Minnesota, and I hated him when he was there because he was his kid.
Yeah.
All I ever think of is bags of McDonald's bags of money and strippers and hookers.
Wait a minute.
That halftime show where the first 3 minutes, oh boy, was like 6 of Louisville's players should be fouled out of this game by now. And then years later to have that championship stripped from Louisville, it was just like, bro, how much fucking cheating did you do?
I can't even imagine what
St.
they
John's.
did do. Then you also
sure whatever's
have
going on here is going to get stripped as well.
Then you had the cleanest block in all of college basketball history too, that happened in that game, and which Michigan I think was up by 1.
Yeah.
And when that happened,
yeah. Oh yeah, no, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Then to have it stripped because of just how terrible it was, and that, like I said, cool. So enjoy it while it's happening because you're not going to get to hold on to it. All right? The Bambino's gambling somewhere, I promise you. Or Patino, whatever the fuck his name is.
Patino.
Yeah.
I call him Calipari. You call him Patino. No, it really is Calipari. That freaking God damn it! I don't know these coaches because we don't pay attention to them. Fuck the SEC.
Like he left Kentucky and everybody gave him shit for it.
You don't.
Here's the thing: does he need a championship more than Izzo does to cement his career? Because he's had more one and done exits. Calipari's had lots of one and dones in the NCAA.
Yeah, but doesn't he have 4 already?
I think he only has 1. I think he's got 1.
There's a lot more than me.
This is the thing.
But they're not talking about being a Hall of Fame coach. They're talking about who needs it more to cement that first
Izzo
ballot.
has 2 already, I think, right?
Izzo has 1 too, I believe.
He's won 2.
I thought Izzo won 1 in 2000.
Izzo is a dude from fucking Iron Mountain, Michigan, bro. He's going to be in just because of that.
No, it's not about that. It's about because both these guys they're in the retirement thing. Which one's going to get in first? Because obviously both can't get in at the same time.
I think Izzo's going to be retiring first.
I think so too, because he's about 4 or 5 years older than Calipari. I think he's 74, 75.
Just you look at how they move and walk and talk, and
there aren't too many. Let's be honest. I don't hate Izzo as a person. I just hate that he complains in his crybaby mentality. He's one of the greatest college basketball coaches we've ever seen.
Of course.
But I hate that he cries and he throws a fit and he looks like a baby. There's that Michael Jordan baby meme. Come on.
Bro, we're Michigan fans.
I know, we're Michigan. I guess you're going to sugarcoat it. He's beaten us so many times. That's why you hate him too. You could have the worst team ever going into
the comment section is going to be filled with it. Like,
what do you hate him?
I had to say
the Lucky Charms guy every time I see him. You took me Michigan State championship away.
Hey man, I'm just shout out Dusty for winning the Big Ten championship. The first Big Ten coach ever to do that in their inaugural season. That was fantastic. That was super cool. The tournament, but for me, the tournament's been electric. How about y'all? Been your biggest surprise so far?
As long as he wins.
But the biggest surprise, I think, for me so far, just with what I've seen, is just McNeese State. I know it's just Clemson, but the fact that it's
a 12 beats a 5 every year, I'm way more comfortable. I feel way better about Michigan's chances tonight. No.
Another 11 is up on a 6 right now. Drake is up over Missouri 24-16 right now. So
isn't that another SEC school?
That is another SEC school, Charles.
Interesting. We should be saying that a lot because 14 of them, the most of any conference ever, has made it into the big dance. Oh, we got to remember Paul's an SEC guy.
Yeah, I have no dog in this fight.
He is, but you're like the adopted kid that got brought in because his parents were rich.
Yeah, it's really not his fault.
I think of Texas.
He was.
I got dragged. I preferably would have loved to stay in the Big 12 because if we were in the Big 12, we would have been dominating that bitch.
You dominated the SEC.
I know, but it was too much heart attacks.
If you would have flipped the switch, it could have gone any way. I get what he's saying.
I get it. Yeah,
But I feel like the Big
floppy.
12 would have been a lot easier to dominate versus this first year in the SEC for football was. I don't have enough painkillers or heart medication to describe what I went through.
All right. I'll talk about painkillers and heart medication. Unfortunately, your Chicago Cubs lost the first 2 games of the season in Tokyo against the Dodgers. Now, why on earth? Is this solely because the Dodgers and the Cubs have so many Japanese players that they decided?
I would assume so.
Isn't this the second year they've done this?
I don't know. But let's be honest. Are you really surprised that the Dodgers took 2 from freaking Cubs? They just won the World Series.
Listen.
It doesn't surprise.
Was I surprised that we lost? No. I'm like, everything Chicago is frustrating at this point in my life, from the Cubs to the Bears to the Bulls. Everything is just bad.
How weird is it to see Turner in a Cubs uniform after all those years playing for the freaking Dodgers?
It was weird. I'm not even going to lie. Watching him walk out during one of the warm-ups, I'm like, why is this fucker wearing a Cubs hat? Oh,
yeah, he plays.
Here.
He plays That's right. To have the FU money as the Dodgers. That's like Charles. You brought this up before. I just have a hard time watching baseball until they get a salary cap. It's gonna be hard to watch.
There's never going to be a salary cap.
It's never going to happen. But
and apparently, one of 2 things will happen. Owners will be forced to spend money.
Yeah.
The MLB will be forced to put a salary cap, but small market teams are going to die.
Yeah.
But all they have to do is leave and go somewhere that they're not a small market team, right? We can all laugh and yell at the Oakland A's all we want.
Yeah.
And we can make fun of it and joke all we want. But the fact that they're going to be in Vegas, they're going to have Dodgers money.
With a brand new stadium.
And they never spent money before.
So how is that going to work? Do they get some kind of expansion draft or is that only
I don't think so. That's only if you get a new team, period. They're just relocating. So it's not a new team. Yeah. They're moving from Oakland to Vegas. That's it.
Yeah. And they're playing at some AAA ballpark for the next couple of years.
On a stadium that the owner probably paid 10
It's in Arizona. Yeah, I think they're sharing the college stadium or some shit like that. Yeah, it's all cheap, but again, you're going from Oakland to Vegas, where your tickets are $8. They go from $8 from the fucking middle of the stadium to $80 for nosebleeds, and the stadium's packed all the time because it's Vegas and you're just going to watch baseball. The Vegas Knights hockey stadium is packed all the time. The Raiders stadium is packed all the time.
Aces.
Yeah, Aces are packed all the time. And you can't,
and
you can't tell me it's because people, the Raiders have a good fan base.
We'll see. Yeah,
they're just loyal and stupid.
They don't have the stadium loyal.
They got the first few years it's gonna be a nut house. I haven't seen the design for the new stadium. I was curious to see what that was gonna look like. If it's anything like the football stadium. That dome, that globe.
It's gonna be badass. It's Vegas, so it'll be fun.
It's gonna be very glitzy and very all out. I'm like,
it's Vegas. It's gonna be bougie. You're saying it's gonna be bougie?
It's probably gonna be fucking glitz and glamours, and it's gonna have all the bells and whistles, and it's gonna charge you an arm and a leg to sit in the front row.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be paying. You'll be paying through the teeth. Speaking of paying through the teeth, we're gonna talk about Aaron Rodgers. The Minnesota Vikings have shut him down. Charles, you posted this earlier. The Minnesota's out, and it does sound like Pittsburgh's going to pass on him as well.
Yeah.
So his only other options are retirement, the Giants, or wait until the draft and somebody gets completely desperate and needs a quarterback. But I don't. What other team is desperate enough to need a quarterback?
This is my thing. Even with the upside of signing somebody like Rodgers financially wise,
Tennessee.
Is he worth the headache?
True.
In the locker room. Like, theoretically, I'm not saying that he can't give you something.
If you're Tennessee, yes. If you're the Giants, yes. Absolutely. Bro. On the Jets, he had top 10 quarterback stats.
Yeah, he wasn't terrible. I think I actually
I get what you're saying about the locker room.
Yeah.
But okay, so if you're a team like Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes gets hurt halfway through the year, no, that's a terrible idea to bring in Aaron Rodgers. He's terrible for your locker room. But if you're Tennessee or New York, you ain't got a locker room right now. You ain't got no fucking culture. At least Aaron Rodgers brings something, even if it is darkness.
Because that's all it's coming. The darkness is coming.
But
I get what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's a bad player. Like, even at 40 years old, he had good stats. It's more so the intangibles of what he brings to the locker room.
Well,
Is
these
it
aren't
worth it?
Hey,
how bad do you want to win?
That's probably why some of these teams are sitting here back.
Well, Zach Wilson had a better
record.
record for the Jets than Aaron Rodgers did, but he didn't have better statistical numbers.
I agree with Paul. I agree with you saying bring him in as a cancer, but somebody's probably going to pull the trigger on him.
Oh, I most definitely feel somebody's going to do it.
Charles, Tennessee does seem like a very possible
So
fit.
outside of Tennessee and New York, who honestly needs a presence of a quarterback of his caliber?
Oh, the Giants.
I'm saying outside of them too. Outside of the Titans and
Seattle. Giants. I know you just signed Sam Darnold, but let's just say Sam Darnold starts seeing ghosts halfway through the year.
Who's to say he didn't start seeing him towards the end of the last season?
Oh yeah, no, he had their radio people fucking going crazy.
Oh really?
Throw the ball! He's holding it too long.
Here's the thing with fans getting with doing interactions with like podcasters or people that actually do this on a daily basis. I would say that we are fringe professional when it comes down to it. Like we'll talk facts, we'll talk straight opinions and stuff, but then there's the people that take it so far where they can't even. Some of our people we've had on here, they got the blinders when they see their team. They're like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with the Bills or I'm obsessed with KC. That's all they talk about. There's a reason why, when it comes down to it, that you get so focused on your team that you forget about everybody else. And then we're over here telling you, yeah, there's a reason why you guys didn't make the playoffs. Next year, we'll just reload and we'll get new players. No, you won't. You've been the same team for 20 years. Example A, Lions fans. Example B, San Francisco 49ers. The Niners haven't been elite for a long time. They've been good, yes. Haven't been elite. But these are people that are dedicated.
So that means have only been 8 elite teams since the Packers have won a Super Bowl.
I would say so, because if you really think about it.
No, that's fine. That's a good opinion. It's a good stance. I mean, you have to win the Super Bowl that season to be considered the elite team.
Well, yeah, you would think if you really think about it, these teams might win the division, but it's been dominated.
Marino would argue with you, but
yeah.
The 1972 Dolphins would argue with you.
Because is Bob Greasy an elite quarterback?
You remember, that was 53 years ago. That was a long fucking time.
I'm just telling you.
That makes me feel old, Charles, when you say shit like that.
I'm just trying to figure out what you thought was, or what you were saying was elite, because arguably, like...
Elite to me means you at least in the last 10 years.
I think in the NFL, it has to be subcategorized.
Yeah, you've been to at least a few Super Bowls in 5 years. That would be elite. Are you a great football team? Yes.
You can't say that, dude. The 49ers have been to a few Super Bowls in 5 years.
They've been to one.
You've been to one.
Yeah.
No, they lost. They've lost.
I don't know. I don't remember. When outside. No, didn't Kaepernick take? Yes, you're right.
But that was like in the early 2010s. We're talking the last 5 years.
Well, no, I'm going to say 5 years. I'll give you 10, 15 years.
If that's the case, they've been to 2.
Yeah.
And lost both of them.
I'm just saying, since Green Bay has won their Super Bowl in 2010, only 8 other teams have won a Super Bowl. You're going to get this from me a lot moving forward.
Yeah, the NFL has been dominated by the Patriots and Kansas City over the last decade and a half.
And yes, that can't be argued, but you can't look at the rest of the NFL and just say that there were only good teams that year because they didn't win the Super Bowl. Making it to the playoffs every year is pretty fucking cool. That's an accomplishment. And I know that this gives credit to Dallas and some of the things Dallas have done, but man, like,
I think the fact
we're
that
not pedestaling.
I don't know. I think the fact I didn't like the expansion of the NFL playoffs, allowing some of these shit teams in there, because the only team over the course of God knows how many years of playoff history that even ever did anything with a 500 record was when old Forehead came in with the Giants and beat Brady and knocked him out for the Super Bowl. That was the only time.
The Packers fucking won in 2010. They were the wild card team. They went
Yeah,
into
but
Philadelphia and won. They went
weren't a
into
7-9 football team. Yes, they deserved to be there. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
I know what you're saying, but they
point
were
we've
like
got 7-9, 6-10
game
fucking
above
teams
500.
making it. I get it.
They were like
They were 9-7.
You're not wrong, but the same 6-10 team doesn't make it into the fucking playoffs every year, bro.
No, but it's getting very. I'm saying they expanded it to the point you can't say it's an elite team that made the playoffs anymore because they're fucking 8-8. Come on, you will sit here all the time and tell us that team's trash. Yeah, Seattle's 8-8. They're fucking terrible. They're fucking awful. They play a shit schedule. I'm saying is that we can't say
if you're going to walk into the flea market and take the whole fucking basket at the same time, then yeah, you're right.
I'm just saying we can't say making the playoffs is an elite accomplishment anymore in the NFL because shit teams are making it.
Say that. I do say making the playoffs. You were an elite team that season. It's the NFL. It's, to me, personally. Okay, and again though, too, I'm not walking in the flea market taking the whole fucking basket. When specifically the NFC South has been here for 5 fucking years. Until Brady got there.
The whole reason that those teams suck and that they make the playoffs because they expanded. I'm not saying the playoffs are bad. I'm saying that they expanded it to the point this is what we get and this is what we've been getting. We've been getting some pretty bad matchups in the playoffs. I'm not saying that the playoffs are shitty. I'm just saying I didn't like the expansion when they added the 2 extra teams.
What do you think I'm saying? Out of curiosity.
You're saying you think the teams that make the playoffs are elite. I'm saying every year.
I think you can look at teams that make the playoffs and call them elite. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that every team that makes the playoffs is elite, but I'm saying you don't have to win the Super Bowl to be considered elite. And we have to start recognizing the fact that making it to the Super Bowl making it to the playoffs in consecutive fashions. Poor PR, he ain't even got a dog in this bone.
Hey, I'm not. I'm sorry, Paul. Sorry, we both threw you under the bus just talking about our own.
But again, though, dude,
I haven't had an elite team in a long time.
You look at the Green Bay Packers, dude. You look at what Matt LaFleur's done with Jordan Love and just us making the fucking playoffs. That's pretty fantastic. You can't knock that per se. Right now, are we calling the Green Bay Packers an elite team? I don't know. Close your one eye, look at the paper, and don't look at the games where we drop all the footballs. Maybe.
Yeah.
Remember to close one eye.
Definitely a perspective thing because I can see how people can argue it both ways.
But again, there's no way I would sit here and have an honest conversation with someone who is telling me a 6-9 football team is elite, or a 6-12 football team, whatever the fuck it is anymore, 6-11. Football team is elite because they made it to the playoffs because their division was terrible. No. Is
it time for division realignment? I'm almost thinking it needs to happen. I'm not. The NFC South needs to be rearranged. They can move some AFC teams and NFC teams around down like Jacksonville, move them to the South, move New Orleans over into the AFC. Like, I really don't care at this point. Like, make it more competitive for these people. It's the NFC and AFC South are both fucking trash right now.
I think your heart is in the right spot, but I believe your plan is terrible.
Why? Why? Why?
You have billionaires who own these fucking teams. Spend money, asshole. What do you mean, why?
Well,
spend fucking money.
Why would they want to do that?
Yeah,
spend money and make your fucking team good.
Well,
or there needs to be relegation. That's what
I agree. We all relegated teams in it.
Guess what? The new soccer league, the relegation is coming to the United States.
I absolutely wish relegation league was the NFL was a relegation.
In the NFL, I do. I wish there was an NFL. Yeah. But the NFL is, dude. The NFL is so difficult.
It's the egotistical fact that they believe that their team is a business more than it is entertainment. Let's be honest. They don't care. Let's just say they don't care about the product as much they put on the field as long as the seats are being filled. Correct. Yeah.
That's their job.
That is. I know. I understand.
As a fan, that's frustrating.
As a fan, it sucks.
But here's this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. We've talked about this a couple of times on the show. If your team is terrible, why are you still rooting for them?
We said this with the Pistons.
Blind loyalty.
Why are you still? No, but hold on. But I haven't bought Pistons gear in.
No. I'm saying your voice was loud in the room. You were saying that sell the fucking team. I remember you brought this up.
Okay,
Yeah, I understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
Same page.
anywho,
Why are you going to the game? Why are you paying for memorabilia? Why are you doing merchandise? Yeah, I understand. Why are you going? Why are you supporting the team if they're not the product they're putting on the field is not what you want to pay for?
in the NFL, there's 32 fucking football teams, right?
Pick a different one.
Okay, so just pick a different one.
Yeah.
Pick one that spends money. What are you going to hear for a couple of years from people who are
Fucking
miserable?
bandwagon bullshit.
Bandwagon fan. Guess what? You're fucking miserable. Who cares?
Hey, I was a Lions
Paul,
fan
by
last
the
year.
way, this isn't Charles taking another
Yeah, I
stab
was a
at you.
Lions fan last year.
Yeah, no, this is
He's down here like,
no, being
God,
serious.
this is making so much fucking sense
Because
right
this is,
now.
I love baseball. If my teams aren't going to put forth an effort every few years to make it relevant, I'm going to for a different team.
What's funny? So this is way before I started getting into this whole podcast thing. Me and a couple of buddies had this very accurate argument. It's not even an argument, but this discussion that we're having now. Yeah. And at that time, before Deshaun Watson became the fucking weirdo that he is now, at the time, Houston, Chicago, and I think Washington, or when RG3 was at Washington, because I liked RG3. Those were the teams that I rooted for, and I got a lot of flack for it for a while, because they were like, aren't you a Chicago fan? I was like, yes, I'm rooting for Chicago. However, at the same time, these fuckers suck. So Houston is playing fucking lights out right now, so I'm going to root for Houston to win, because they're good right now, and they don't piss me off.
Why does that, what does it matter?
And so, but these were people that were loyal fans, and Littleton, just for clarity, for it to make sense why they are the way that they are, both of them were Raider fans. And I'm like, you have no room to talk to me about shit.
No.
You enjoy being upset.
I mean, but again, too, like you have to ask yourself as a fan, like, why are you doing that?
And at the end of the day, I'm a fan of the sport. Yes, I am going to be Chicago to the day that I die. Nothing can take me away from being a fan of Chicago. However, like you said, Charles, if for 1 year or 2 years, I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. Until you get your stuff together.
Bracket and just sitting back and enjoying basketball.
I straight didn't fill out I didn't fill out a fucking bracket this year.
So I'm like,
so last
year I rooted for Detroit.
You got stressed because of it? Exactly. Are you enjoying the tournament?
Hell, enjoying it.
There you go.
Next year, am I going to fill out a bracket?
Who knows?
I know I am. I'm a bracket junkie. Of course, I'm going to fill out a bracket.
You just needed a break.
You needed to take a break.
The brackets weren't doing me any favors,
and so that's why I rooted for Detroit last year. It gave me a sense of peace.
People who bet money and yell at fucking kids should take this advice too.
Yeah, we'll
take a break.
Walk away.
Walk away.
Just walk away. But seriously though, that's the thing. Like if the team, but my grandpa rooted for this team. No, he didn't. Your grandpa rooted for a team that cared. So come back when the team shows you they care. I watched a Pistons game start to finish for the first time in 4
because they're actually playing
years
good
last year.
now.
Because they're trying.
It was a badass game. They're trying.
It's electric, isn't it?
Bickerstaff. Oh my god!
All the freaking. I would love to go to the game because they're freaking. There's fireworks. They're freaking. The player. They're doing the intros again. The players are freaking into it. They're on the bench. I
swear to God, I was the first person to scream, "Sell the team! Sell the team!"
Yeah.
And I'm not upset that I started saying it because the dude got off his fucking ass and he stopped being a clown.
Yeah.
And
guess what? They're selling that play. They're selling the Palace out too.
Oh, they were doing that.
Why not? But they're doing it in a fashion where the fans are buying into the atmosphere, like you said, and all the players are.
I've got 3 jerseys I'm buying this offseason. I've got 3 from the Pistons: Cade Cunningham, Durant.
And Cade is finally playing into his comfortability. Like he's playing comfortable, and he is being aggressive. He's leading that team. Like,
Beasley's shooting 42% from the 3-point line this year.
He wasn't.
Didn't y'all get him from Sacramento 2 years ago?
No, we just got him this year.
Milwaukee. He was at the
Bucks. Somebody else. Never mind.
Yeah, but he's got. He had over. I don't remember if he got more from this point, but he had 270 threes made, which was a franchise record this year.
Yeah.
It's just, it's electric. It's
You
fun.
know
It's
who's a
super-
really
it's
fun
amazing.
basketball player to
changing.
watch?
Culture's back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's you bring in a coach and you bring in the right personnel.
And they cared about defense more than they cared about offense. Bro, they were having so much fun playing defense, and I was having so much fun watching
And the best part about Detroit right now is y'all are young.
Oh yeah.
So you have a way now you can attract veterans that are trying to get to that want to ring chase. And they're like, hey, they got something working over here. You can get a couple veterans, convince them to be like, hey, we got a core of young guys here, but we just need one or two of you big guys that have been here for a while, that have done this for a while, to inject that last little piece of over the hump.
Are we gonna win a championship? I don't know.
No, but
I don't know if this team.
The excitement is back
for
in
the
Detroit.
6th seed, though. They're going to make.
Well, no,
playoffs.
and I'm not talking about this season. I'm talking about this team.
But the excitement's back in the team.
Yeah, but
They just sold, Boston Celtics just sold. Like, that's crazy.
$6.6 billion, I think, was the value on that. Yeah,
crazy.
Which was like 0.5 more than the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
But regardless, they're exciting to watch, and they give the fan hope. And that's all we ask for. That's all we ask for from these billionaires that we give all of our money to in regards to sports, is to just keep our fan hope alive.
Yeah.
Have you happened to watch who's a really fun basketball player, and I don't like his dad, but LaMelo Ball does some crazy shit.
Oh yeah, LaMelo is awesome.
It's freaking fantastic watching.
The Ball brothers themselves, even that one who just decided to quit playing basketball and started to be a rapper, Jello. Is it Jello?
Jello, Gelo.
Oh,
yeah,
so his actual government name is Leangelo.
Okay,
I like
but
how
for
Paul's
short,
over
it's
here.
Jello.
Come on, it's Jello.
Sweet.
But I'm saying,
I thought he was saying Jello.
No, for LeVar being a very annoying person,
very shitty marketing.
I am not. I have never and never will knock him for being a proud father. Listen.
Yeah.
You got it as a man, seeing all three of your kids doing something that they love to do and are successful at it. At the end of the day, he's annoying as hell.
In better shoes now too. Yeah.
He only has one shoe that he could wear, so figure that out.
Well, there's that too.
Hey man, when you're that decent and you're that good at sports, you could be wearing freaking old '80s Chuck Taylors. It don't fucking matter.
Listen, I know that if I was in LeVar's shoe,
literally,
and I had three kids that were professional and actually getting paid professionally to do something,
right?
I'm sitting back. I'm like, yeah, talk all that shit y'all want, but my kids are doing it.
I don't care. I'm not even listening to you. Here, would I have dinner with Mr. Ball? Who's paying?
As long as if he's paying, I'm
paying,
good.
Hell yeah. And that goes.
He might invite you to dinner, but I don't know if he's picking up the check.
I'm not going if he's not picking up.
I'm not going. Whoa.
You're gonna shaft him.
If you invite me to dinner,
sentence, I'm in the same.
I'm expecting you to pay.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Hey, you want to come to dinner with us? We're gonna go hang out.
Assume you're spotting the check.
No, that's different. That's different. Like I'm paying in that scenario.
Yeah.
But if you're coming up to me and you're like, "Hey, I need you to come to dinner with me,"
you're paying.
Exactly. See, like
this is a meeting of the minds, and guess what? I invited you. I'm
paying. If I invited you to a meetings of the mind, I'm paying. If you're inviting me to the meetings of the mind, you're paying.
Yeah, isn't that just like a common courtesy?
I thought that was just how it works. Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah. That's like you always look people in the eye when you're shaking their hands. That's
you're supposed to,
right?
Wait, you're supposed to look them in the eye?
That's the thing, though. I've told many people this. Like when I invite anyone, when there's an invitation extended, the thought process behind it is I'm inviting you, not your wallet.
Unless it's spoken otherwise, 9 times out of 10. For example, if you guys come down to my house next summer, when we do what we do, I'm going to make sure that I ask you, hey, what are things that you guys like to eat, drink, and everything? So by the time you come down here,
you can cook.
These things are here because I'm inviting you to my house. I'm not expecting you to put stuff in the fridge or the pantry that you like to eat out of your own pocket. That's just stupid.
No, you're a gracious host. Yep, and that's exactly how you have to think of it. So yeah, it was fantastic. So the Packers picked up
Nicole Hardman. Yeah,
Nicole Hardman.
Are you on the same page with me? This was a kickoff returner, punt returner.
I would assume so.
This is a depth move.
This is weird. We did. he's got wide receiver next to his name, but
let's be honest, like him and Nixon are probably the two him, Nixon, and Watson. They're all, but McCole Hardman was like a 4.3 guy in college, but he's been in the league for 6-7 years. He's got
good eyes back there on the special teams. Yeah. If he averages close to 10 yards, a returnable
he's
kick,
worth the $1.1 million that they gave him or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was worth the fucking investment. Oh yeah, we didn't get a number one. Who are we gonna get? Devontae Adams.
Hey, here's the thing. I don't know about you.
Cooper Kupp. He said he didn't want to play anywhere other than the West Coast.
This is my thing. How many number ones were even honestly available?
T. Higgins was never leaving Cincinnati.
No, and that was pretty much the only one everybody had eyes for, too.
He got tagged immediately.
So where's Goody supposed to find this wide receiver one? Was he just supposed to go to a fucking toy factory and shit it out his nose? I'm going to take a wild guess and say they're just going to draft. They're going to draft and try to build. They have two great tight ends. Like they did not utilize them last year. They just fucking throw the tight ends. They were.
I know, but we'll just say Kraft is elite, and Musgrave will come into his own at some point.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree with you.
We're in a good position. We have time still to
not only that, you have draft capital and you have money. So
you're going to be still a young team at the core of it all.
Like the goal is one Super Bowl in 5 years. Why are you trying to get it to tomorrow?
You want to build something that fans are
is making it to, the hope is to make it to a few Super Bowls in 5 years. Oh, why the 5-year mark? Because we have the dude signed for 5 fucking years.
Hey, you don't just say tomorrow. We signed him. Tomorrow we're a Super Bowl team. Paul, would you agree with this?
You guys
just signed stupid as hell.
Yeah, he's already on a contract. He got a 5-year extension.
Yes.
So it's fuck. You guys, Sunday football fans, I love you, but I don't make money off you, so I will yell at you.
This is where I was going with the impatience of fans being on, being all over the boards and stuff, commenting. Yeah. They feel like any move, like the one that bothered me the most is who the hell was Darnold went to Seattle? Who else went to Seattle?
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp. Yeah, them saying that now they're a playoff team. Bro, you just got rid of your number 1 and number 2 wide receiver. You got an old ass Kupp. Now, I'm not saying Kupp's not going to have success with Darnold, but I'm telling you one thing right now. You ain't throwing him the ball 30 times a game and having the same success as you had with DK.
And this is the thing.
And Lockett. Let's be honest.
The jury for me is still out on Seattle. Because
it's got to be on Darnold, too, because he had elite talent in Minnesota.
I agree with you, but Jackson Smith-Njigba is a good football player.
He's good.
He's a very good wide receiver. Now,
J. Jetta good, though. That's
he's not Justin Jefferson.
Hold on.
Nobody's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's not very.
I'm not saying. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I see what you mean, but
you're downgrading in yes.
There are 3 receivers in the NFL that are in the same conversation. And
did Sam Darnold ever throw it to Justin Jefferson when he was covered?
What's that?
I don't remember Sam Darnold giving Jefferson many 50-50 balls.
No, he didn't.
So
he didn't have to though either. He was open most of the time, but.
Okay, so then what my point with this is Jackson Smith gets open also.
Yeah.
So if all he's doing is throwing to open wide receivers, then yes, Jackson Smith-Njigba and Cooper Kupp are going to do well for Sam Darnold. That falls more on Sam Darnold.
I think arguably the one thing that people forget though is he definitely took a downgrade for the offensive line. Hopefully they fix it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I'm not trying to sit here and make it sound like Sam Darnold's a godly quarterback. Okay,
I agree with you.
He was in a great situation in Minnesota.
Yeah, we're going to find out if he can earn that contract. Yeah. It's a prove-it deal for him, is it not? It has to.
I have faith in Mike McDonald, and the moment I say the name, I know I know you're going to be right there with me.
Yeah.
Because it's Mike McDonald.
Same thing with Harbaugh. If Harbaugh does not take a Michigan player in the first round, I've lost all faith in Harbaugh because he's got to take a Michigan player.
I did hear somebody jokingly say something along the lines of, if you're Minnesota, you need to call Harbaugh and say Jay McCarthy and a 2nd-round draft pick for Herbert.
That's insane.
I'm just saying.
I know, but that's insane. He loves him some Herbs.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Emmanuel, Herbert. Yeah. But so now on to the conversation I wanted to have weeks ago. I don't think we were able to get to it. The Bears.
My camera.
No, you're okay.
But I hear you. I'm still
here. You're here. We hear you.
So the Bears have won another offseason. They've done well. They've worked from the offensive line out on offense, and I believe they picked up somebody for the DL? They did pick up a
like an
DL.
They
edge
picked
guy,
up
right?
2. I'm not even gonna try to say that other guy's name.
It's Ugoguli.
And then I think it's Jared or Garrett from it. He was a free agent from Atlanta.
Okay. So after you're done with that wonderful chip,
I'm not claiming that. I'm not doing that. Don't put that on me.
no, what the
Who
chip?
put that evil
The
on me, Ricky Bobby?
the off-season championship thing. Don't
No,
put that
I'm
on
literally
me.
talking about the chip you put in your mouth.
Sorry, I'm done.
No, I'm saying once you're done enjoying the chip you put in your mouth.
All right. I just want to make sure.
Yes, sir. No, I wanted you to enjoy the.
Wow. I'm
Don't
not.
put
I
that
was
on
over
me.
here looking
Don't
at
put that
looking
juju
at
on me.
something on my
The Bears
closer
have hurt
ESPN
you.
thing.
I'm your
And
friend.
all of a sudden, I hear Chip and Charles is. What are you? No, I'm putting a chip, and then Charles is like, "No, the chip in your hand. When you're done with the chip in your
All right.
hand."
Proceed.
So,
Oh,
anyways,
boy.
I don't want to hear the analytical. I want to hear the fan you. How are you feeling?
The fan me,
Tim Pick.
I'm happy with the route that we're going because I haven't seen
It's
them
different.
actually attack the actual problem in a long time in the beginning of an offseason before the even draft gets here. So to see them actually address the holes that we need and getting a center, getting a guard, and getting a defensive lineman that can
Yeah, because I think
complement
you and the
Swift.
Patriots right now are like 1A, 1B when it comes to this offseason.
The fact that was the focus at the beginning of this offseason, it makes me feel like, okay, Poles and Johnson are on the same page, and
They better be.
Warren is allowing Poles to do whatever he wants. Like, he gave him the reins. Like, all right, this is basically
Down in
Poles'
Africa.
prove-it year. Because this is his last year on his contract. Says, hey, I'm going to give you the reins. Do what you
Or
have
was
to
it
do.
Poles who went in and went, listen,
We did it y'all's way for 3 years.
fire me now or let me do it my way?
Something happened. A
Something
conversation
like that,
had-
you think?
a
You would hope
conversation
it
was
happened
had.
that way, right?
Right. A conversation was had
But
either way.
Time out, though. Hypothetical.
Uh-huh.
When do you have that conversation realizing that his mother just died? I'm not laughing at the death.
I'm like, listen,
This is a serious question, right? Like,
I understand that your mom just passed away. I get that. However,
yeah.
this is still a business, and we're in the business of winning.
I don't think enough people were talking about that conversation, the hypothetical behind it. But anyways,
because
I'm sorry.
we had that I was at the VA the other day, and we had that conversation, and
Yeah.
with a Cowboys fan, because
Yeah.
clearly the Cowboys are in the same fucking situation until the owners is you're going to be in the shithole. So I was like, I'm hoping that respectfully, with her mother, with her passing, God bless her soul, rest in peace, all that. Wish no ill will to nobody in that family. However, now that she is gone with Jesus, now the kids can be like, okay, Warren, Poles, here are the keys to the team. Do what you got to do to build an actual contending team. And hiring Ben Johnson, I feel like, was the first step in that direction by far.
Definitely.
And then building the coaching staff that can actually be a productive play calling system for the players that we have. And then after you solidified that, you went and got the players that you needed to help solidify that offensive and defensive line, which I feel like as a fan, that's what we've been screaming for I don't know how many years now.
If it goes bad, where do we think it will go bad?
As far as
First, offense.
for the offense, like even though I don't want to say that all the pressure was on Caleb last year, even though
All the
Eric gets
theoretical-
paid,
Definitely still
it's going to be on Caleb because now
okay.
because last year the excuse was you have all the weapons that any rookie could ever want coming into a situation like this as a first overall pick.
Yeah.
That went to shit.
True.
Right?
Yep.
And the biggest reason was the offensive line was dog water.
Correct.
So now you still have similar toys that you had last year coming into this year. Majority of the same things outside of maybe Keenan Allen and Gerald Everett.
Kansas
Gone.
State took the lead, eh?
But now you have a beefed up offensive line. Supposedly, allegedly, hopefully, right?
Beefed up. Yeah, I would say beefed up. Definitely better.
It's
It's on Caleb to now
better.
you have the weapons, you have the offensive line, you have the offensive head coach calling the plays. You have no excuse.
You have an
Caleb
offense.
Williams.
You now have an offensive minded. I'm not going to say genius because
But a QB whisperer type head coach.
a guy who's going to try to get the best out of the player instead of trying to pick the best play.
We'll
He's
see.
going to work around Caleb versus him
Hold
trying
on.
to make Caleb fit around him.
Oh,
In my opinion.
I was going to say, there's a lot of solidified talk there for somebody who's never been a head coach yet.
No,
And all he's really done is made Jared Goff look better than he was. So I guess,
in a sense, that's what I'm expecting him to do with Caleb.
okay,
On the offensive side of the ball.
I guess
because Jared
all
Goff
is
did throw.
success.
Yeah, because Jared Goff did learn how to throw anticipated throws with Ben Johnson, which is something Caleb needs to do.
Again,
Timing.
I feel like we're
But
my,
how much
my
time
two
does
biggest
either
thing.
one of
I
these
think my
people
biggest
have?
two things when it comes to Caleb that I want to see improve.
Short
These
window,
are my two
probably.
things. I'm pretty sure other people will say other things, but these are the things that
Yes.
that PR wants to see.
That's what we
better.
wanted to hear.
One, I want him to not hold on to the ball for so long. I want him to
That was
get comfortable
Charles'
with
big
getting rid of the
bugaboo last
ball,
year.
even if that means throwing it away.
Correct.
Just get rid of the ball. And two, if you're running to extend the play and you see about 7 to 8 yards in front of you with open grass, take it.
Yeah.
Stop trying to force the ball. If you got an open way, I'd rather go 2nd and 2 than 3rd and 10.
Here's the question: Was that a coaching thing telling him not to use his legs as much last year?
I have
Because-
no idea. But he
because
already says that he
let's
doesn't
be
like
honest,
to run.
Fields definitely used them too much, but Williams didn't use them.
But
near
Williams
enough.
stated even before the draft that he's not a runner and he's not trying to be a runner.
He ran quite a bit in college.
That's what
I
I'm
mean,
but I'm
Well,
saying
he
like
had to.
well, yes, that's very
Well,
true.
here's the other thing, though. We were saying that he needs to recognize he's not the greatest athlete on the field anymore. In
That's
college,
right,
maybe
yes.
he recognized he's the greatest athlete on the field. Now in the NFL,
you are
he
not
switched
that
his
guy
tune.
right now.
But again, to his benefit, he switched his tune, and that's why I don't want to fucking run unless I have to. I'm not
Right.
faster than everyone
But
else
that's the thing,
anymore.
if you have to, and if you have that opportunity.
You
Because
should
if you see Jordan Love constantly stay at that scrimmage line trying to get a play to happen, and there's 8 yards in front of him, would you rather do 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 10?
I want him to take off, but not.
But be
I don't
smart
want
about
him
it.
to go- Yeah, be smart.
But if there's an opportunity, slide at and you have a 2nd and 2, would you not rather have 2 downs at 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2 versus all 3 downs
from
for
a
10 yards?
first-year quarterback or a third-year quarterback. I think
But
that matters.
Answer this as the Chicago Bear and Caleb Williams, I guess, Charles, because
If
we already
Caleb Williams
know
is your
what we would
quarterback
feel
right
about
now,
it. Yeah,
how would you want him to proceed?
second-year quarterback.
A lot of difference from what you said, except I want you to take control of the ball better.
Better decision making.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I want
I
you
mean,
to,
but-
I want you
I'm-
to not hesitate. I
but-
want you
but
to make
there's-
that decision.
Yeah,
like
I was
this.
gonna say, but it all can fall on and be built on the same foundation, right? Everything that PR is saying could literally fall under the umbrella of decision making.
Yeah.
He just needs to he needs to get faster and he needs to decide a little bit faster. But this is my biggest worry with the Chicago Bears. One of the 3 main pieces on your chessboard doesn't have time for the others to figure it out. And how is that going to affect the situation? Because if the Bears, because Caleb Williams is still just a second-year quarterback. So for me, I'm looking for progression and not regression, which means like everything you just said. But none of that screams playoff success or Super Bowl. What is Ryan Poles' leash, and how does that affect the future if it isn't or is in fact cloudy when this thing affects? So that's what's got me scared. The only unknown for the Chicago Bears, if I was a Bears fan, is the fact that I've got a general manager who's literally working for his job this year, and I've got a head coach and a quarterback who are stuck here regardless for 2 or 3 years. So Ryan Poles, if it comes down to it, could be the thorn in the side of the Chicago Bears this year because he's lost his job already because the season isn't going how unrealistic fans think it should go.
So the bar for regression over progression is obviously on the shoulders of the coach, and whether or not that's going to be dictated by the play of Caleb Williams is also going to be
you're
on the
saying-
shoulders of the head coach too.
So Ryan Poles' job is basically
it's in the
it's
coach's
in the hands of 2 people,
Yeah, basically.
Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams.
I believe that. Yeah. Because I honestly, What has Ryan Poles done up until this point?
Oh, nothing to be amazed of at this point.
Anybody was drafting Caleb Williams number one. So
yeah, I don't think anybody's going to argue
Again,
that.
I think this is the thing that always confused me when it came to Ryan Poles in this whole situation as a GM. You bring him over from Kansas City, a franchise that is just booming with draft picks, how they draft, how they build, how they trade. So you would think that being the assistant GM in Kansas City and getting that wealth of knowledge, sitting under that for so long, you'd bring it over to Chicago. Were we expecting an overnight thing? Of course not, because I'm like, look what he inherited at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like for 3 out of the 4 years outside of this year, you didn't make any splash moves until last year when you traded for Keenan Allen.
We took the lead.
You traded for Keenan Allen. You drafted Caleb Williams. You drafted Rome Odunze. You signed DeAndre Swift. Like, you made these things from the outside, but you didn't address anything in the middle until this year. So again, the last 2 years you've done stuff, but it hasn't produced anything to make me feel like your job is secure yet. Now, if we win 9 or 10 games and possibly make the playoffs, then yes, I can see him getting an extension in the offseason, if not before the offseason starts. Because, again, you going from, we won 7 games the year before, 5 games last year, and then we win double that this year. Yes, I might give you another 2-3 years to see what else you could do for me. But if we end up in the same boat this year with 5 to 6 wins again, Poles is gone. And nobody can convince me otherwise.
Even if that's more because of the quarterback. What it would see, because this, and I don't want to get too far into this because these are all what ifs, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Right, hypothetical.
It depends on what the season he has.
But if you've got 9 or 10 interceptions by game 4 or 5, and you're just not picking up on Ben's offense,
and we haven't got a win,
so it's holy shit. Do I not have the quarterback or the right GM?
But even if that is the case, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Poles drafted Caleb Williams. So this is your fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think ultimately there is more pressure on Ryan Poles than there is anyone else in that organization. Because everyone else in that organization has at least 3 more years. Unless you go and beat your wife or some fucking stupid.
Then you're gone.
But like, in theory, you just play football.
Ben Johnson has at least 2 years, maybe 3.
And Caleb has at least 3 years.
Which is basically the end of his rookie contract.
Ryan Poles has this year. So I think the more pressure for the
Chicago Poles Bears, has all the hot seat.
I truly believe that.
Smoke. He's got the heat.
Which could spell or could lead into a really terrible situation because you got a general manager.
But at the end of the day, guess what's going to happen? So, in theory,
but I don't want this to happen. By the way,
I'm just saying. Let's just go with the story. Poles gets gone. Guess what? We're in the same cycle all over again.
You're not though.
We're going to get a GM that didn't hire Ben Johnson, that didn't draft.
No, actually, you're going to be in a worse situation. You're starting over from ground zero,
doing it all over again.
I think you would be in the best situation. And this is why I say this. And then we'll jump off this. We'll go to something else real quick. This is why I say this. The Bears are finally doing the right thing this year, per se, to analytics and on paper.
Correct.
What changed? Ben Johnson. It's not like Ryan Poles magically woke up and went, oh, this is what I should be doing. Right. Somebody who knew what they were doing in that regard came in and proved it. So now, if you do well and keep Ryan Poles, he's there as a puppet. He is not adding to this pot at all, which could ultimately lead to a plateaued moment more than a peaking moment. You see what I'm saying?
So you let him go either way?
I would. What has he done? What has he done? Because it didn't matter. Again, anybody was hiring Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson picked the Bears. The Bears didn't get Ben Johnson. And everyone's, oh yeah, the Bears got their guy. Ben Johnson picked the Bears because he hates the Packers and Lions, period.
And because of Caleb. We all know that had to be one of the reasons why.
And because of Caleb. We can absolutely say that. I'd love to say that. Absolutely. So if the Bears All the Bears did was not fuck it up.
We just lucked out.
Yeah. So again, that has nothing to do with Ryan Poles.
Technically, we won the lottery.
Okay, so my point here is you've got the left brain, which is your creative side, correct? Yes. You have that in Ben Johnson. I truly believe the Bears are still missing their right brain. And this has nothing to do with who Ryan Poles is as a person or what he looks like or anything at all.
It's building.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. All right. So let me ask you this. Well, Ryan Poles, let's say maybe not in the first year.
Got 3 years.
Maybe not the first year, but let's say the second year as GM. If he would have made the moves that he made this year in his second year and then eventually hired Ben Johnson,
I'd be a completely different conversation, bro. But last year he went after the shiny pieces like a fucking squirrel.
And that was so annoying.
How annoying was that? And now this year, all of a sudden, everything's changed. What's the difference?
I firmly said this. So we was on an NFC North group chat that I'm in. And they said that I was fucking crazy that Ben Johnson is the reason why these players are getting signed in. I was like, listen, I'm not batshit crazy. Yes, I know the GM is making the trades. I know he's making those phone calls.
Why didn't this happen last year or the year before?
But this is how I explained it to him, and then he didn't say nothing back to me. I said, okay, yes, Ryan Poles is the GM. Yes, he's the one on the phone making the trades, making everything official with the other GM. However, who is coaching these players? Who is needing these players? Ben Johnson had to go to Ryan Poles and say, hey, this is my wish list. Make it fucking happen.
Do you remember what I said to you about what Ben Johnson should do to the front office of the Chicago Bears?
Blow it up.
Because it has too many yes men in it?
Blow it up.
I think Ryan Poles is a yes man. I really do. I think Eberflus came to him and said, I need these pieces for my quarterback, and he got those pieces. I think Ben Johnson's going up to him. So it depends on how we view yes men. I think for collective success, you need both the left and right operating in unison. If you're just having the left controlling the right, I don't know. Where has that been successful without that magical piece?
I don't know.
Because I'm like in my mind right now, right? Because it isn't the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid coaches the football team. But Steve Spagnuolo coaches the defense, and their GM does wonders in the draft, right?
Or even Golden State. Steve Kerr was the coach, and old boy was the GM.
The Washington Commanders this year.
The coach was coaching, the GM was GMing.
So again, if you have,
hey Dallas, take notes.
So this, if you're a Bears fan, I know you will, but as a Bears fan, I would like just for one more terrible season. A beloved, learning, progressive season, but I would be okay with a getting rid of Ryan Poles season because he hasn't done anything up until this point. Again, like we just described.
At this point, what's another bad season?
Wow.
Because I think that's in the best interest as long as there's progression everywhere else.
Now, so let me ask you this.
I don't know how a GM could fuck that up, though, if you're in Ben Johnson.
So this is my question for you then.
Trading somebody you shouldn't to get something you shouldn't.
Right.
If you're a Bears fan, I know that's hard
to
say.
No, it's okay. I can do hypotheticals all
hypothetically, you're a Bears fan, right?
Yeah.
And let's say, before I get to the record, we're just going to put out stats, okay? So let's say Caleb does 445, 4,045 yards, right? 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, right? 300 yards on the ground, right? D Moore, Roma Dunze both get between 11 and 13. Somehow in their number apiece, right? With 6-7 touchdowns apiece. DeAndre Swift gets 11-5 with 9 tutties, right? The defense cumulatively gets, we'll say, they get up into like top 5 defense, right? But they have a record of 6-11. Are you happy?
No.
Yes.
You're happy because you're assuming that
I'm talking as a Bears fan, not a Packers fan. As a Bears fan.
I'm happy as a Bears fan for a multitude of reasons. For one, I don't have to hear anyone say I don't have a 4,000-yard passer anymore. Suck it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm like, you got that part.
Okay, so there's.
I see what you did there, Paul.
Yeah, so you have 3 plus 1,000 wide receivers. Like you had a quarterback that lost games due to horrible decision making. That has nothing to do with your front office, that has nothing to do with your head coach, that has everything to do with a quarterback in his second year learning what not to do. And that's what I totally fucking expect.
Okay.
Your second year, you're still learning what not to do in the NFL. So anything above 6 wins is ridiculous. Now, if I'm sub 3 wins, I'm in panic mode. Yeah. If I'm plus 9 wins, I'm in heaven. That's from the outside looking in, that's where I would be. That's how I would take. That's how I took last year for the Packers, bro. And that's how I've been taking the last couple of years as a fan. Because if I came into this expecting playoffs, last year was going to be terrible for me. We barely made the playoffs, to be honest with you. And, we played some terrible teams.
Yeah.
And got our ass kicked by playoff teams.
Yeah.
You knew what was going to happen. As an analyst, as somebody on the radio, I'm going to tell you my hopes all day long. Listen, playoffs in football, like I was going to say with Patrick, in the elite status, where I believe that it needed to be subcategorized. NFL regular season, NFL playoffs, Super Bowl. I believe there are 3 fucking categories when it comes to teams playing, and the teams that are healthier at the end win the Super Bowl. It's not always the best team, but the team that's healthier wins the Super Bowl. The team that's playing the best wins the playoffs.
Typically, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. The team that busts its ass the hardest get to the playoffs, right? But nothing you do to get into each stage is the same fucking thing. You're either building on top of it or it's a completely new structure, in my opinion. So, I'm happy. I would be happy. There's lots of progression in there, and I'm pissed off, but I'm not angry. Right? And I've been angry for a decade. Now I'm just pissed because we're better, and I know it. Let's get to the next season, right? I think that would be a much better boat.
Yeah.
So if we win 10 games, if the Bears win 10 games, same stats, but miss the playoffs, where's your brain at?
Same.
I'm pretty sure the hydrogen peroxide collider fucked up and we're all dead. How do you have all those stats and 10 wins and not make it to the playoffs?
I'm like, it's possible.
So that means the rest of the NFC North has 11 more wins, 11 or more wins?
It's not
just double digits in the NFC North. You better be making the playoffs.
I'm just saying hypothetically. Let's just say. Because, again, there's a
I
possibility that other teams in other divisions win more games than us. We're just saying hypothetically.
There's nothing you can do about that.
But are you going into this offseason and you're like, I'm fucking fantastic. That means next year has to be better.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you have to. You can't be upset that another team did better than you.
And you still were above 500.
And you were above 500 with those stats.
Look what happened to Seattle last year.
Bro, that's over 40 touchdowns. You are selling, like, beer is flying all over the stadium. New jerseys need to be bought. Yeah, no, that's a good year.
That's good.
That's a good year.
Took down Kansas.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
fucking basketball.
Fucking Calipari.
Yep, exactly.
I gotta call my sister-in-law. She is probably ecstatic right now.
Wasn't he coaching Kentucky last year?
Surely was.
What's Kentucky doing this year?
I think they're barely doing anything.
I don't know. I didn't fill out a bracket. So
they're in it, but I don't think that they have anybody's got like super high hopes for them. They're like a 5 or 6 seed, 7 seed. I don't know.
Let me see where they're at.
6.
Kentucky.
I think they finished like 6th or 7th in the SEC. They wasn't crazy good.
They're 3 seed in the Midwest.
They're a 3 seed, I guess. So whatever.
I didn't fill out a fucking bracket. You guys did.
I did. I have more faith in the Survivor one though.
But they didn't do all that great though. They were 18 seed. They were only 22 and 11 for the season. So it's not like they did anything.
March, baby.
It's March, yeah.
But anything can happen.
Throw records out the window. Throw records out the window.
But
all right. We got anything else y'all want to add?
No, good.
I think that was a pretty swell show. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited for the draft. We've got the draft coming up. We've got big things coming up with that. The world's pretty crazy out there. Don't add to the chaos. I guess that would be the best way to put it. But otherwise, I don't know. Go the fuck outside and touch grass.
Yeah.
The world gets much better if you touch grass every once in a while. But until then, we'll be here for you. A couple days a week, right, fellers?
Yeah.
Yes.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
I got nothing but time. Nothing but time.
Thank you, everyone who continues to reach out, touch us.
Hey.
Whoa.
Pause.
Reach out with comments that touch us in our hearts. Sometimes you got to add more to it, perverts.
Proud of it.
But something you don't ever have to add to would be the universe and its ability to surprise you. But what was not a surprise, of course, is if we're alone or not. Because everyone knows at this point, it shouldn't be like a surprise that we've never been alone. Which means we are not alone.
Charts when you hear WH, know we came to spar. Fuck all the dollars, we grind, put in the time. Y'all just talk, but we live. This the heat to provide. We got noise with the heat. Sat in the game, mics on blast. Every take got flames from the Midwest grind to the world we reign. When you hear this crew, better know the name. I got one thing to say to the ones who hate. If you ain't built for the fire, and stay out the flame. From the sports talk kings to the ones who dream, you ain't never gonna stop what we about to achieve. We go live, baby.